I do have one of the boards here we'll be using, and I'll touch upon how this works. It'll have key system here and an LCD display, on-off switch obviously, and a SIMS card you can plug in. This will work on the GPRS GSM networks such as AT&T, T-Mobile. Nice thing about this is you can go get a pay-as-you-go card. Put $10 on the thing, it'll charge you 25 cents per photo, so you don't have to worry about getting into a 2-year contract with a lot of the other plans you have to get into and get into, say, $67 a month. It's much more economical, and for somebody who doesn't want to use this all the time, it's much more advantageous. And for that fact, it'll do a lot better in sales. Another nice feature is it has a USB port onto it, and you can slide in things like a USB thumb drive. And photos can be stored to this as also well as you can update parameters you, such as email addresses you put on, get onto your PC via a software package we give you. You slide it into here and it reads those off. Now this can touch upon the back end of this. We have several radios built into this. This is a cellular radio, and this is a long-range RF modem that we can transmit from, say, one of these boxes to another box if you don't have cellular signal. We're also working on a version that will work with the Iridium satellite modems as well. So all these things kind of depend on what the customer wants or what the needs of the application are. A built-in camera, and not only that, we can take this camera out and put in a JPEG frame grabber and then build it into a box like we did our Undercover Eye system, which is our Undercover Eye cellular system. And it just uses the same bullet camera to be its camera, and obviously makes it a more covert system, which might lend itself well for the applications you're looking for in your TV show. Some other nice features is we designed in a trigger port for this guy, and this currently installed is a motion activation, PR motion activation. So I guess I didn't explain PR detection. The way that this works is that it looks at the background heat and anything that's in the foreground or anything moving across it that has a higher heat signature than what the background does triggers the system. It's probably the best kind of system out there, because things like leaves and sticks or wind moving something around won't set it off. It's only a hot body that moves in front of the system. But again, getting back to our trigger port, these are removable. We can put in here another board that works with our wireless systems to be triggered from. We're also working on another transmitter board here that we can transmit not only PR signals, but things like brake beam, seismic, other kind of sensors we can interface to this, so that might really lend itself to the kind of applications you're looking for this TV show coming up. Well, that covers everything I wanted to accomplish here at our facility in terms of where we're located, the items that we build here, and a little bit about our technology. Why don't we go out in the woods now and see a system set up, or set up a system too, and see what we might have captured on the system. Okay, we're on site where I've got a couple cameras set up on this property. Right now it is the beginning of the mating season here for the white-tailed deer called the rut, and I have a couple cameras set up on called the scrape areas, and they're perfect opportunity to film some really mature white-tailed deer. And let's go up and take a look and see what we got over this week. I come here once a week. The mating season lasts for about a month, and let's go see what we captured this week. Okay, this is the site of one of the two sites that I have set up for filming scrapes here in this property. I'm using our DVR-I system, which is my preferred system because it's portable for one thing, and also it's very good under any condition for filming. Like I said, the camcorders have a lot of problems with freezing up, and in the cold, humid weather just don't work. So this is a scrape site. What they do is they scrape some ground under a tree like this. They'll hit the trees with their tarsal glands to put scent down, and they'll scrape the ground down, and they'll urinate on it. It's more like a marking territory to say I'm the biggest dog in the area. And like I said, this is a great opportunity to film big mature deer. And the interesting thing about this is that I've been filming scrapes for probably about 8 years now, and a lot of the data I've seen doesn't correspond with what's been written about scrapes. And as you know, white-tailed deer is just a huge phenomenon in the United States. The interesting thing is that most of the activity happens at night, so nobody's ever
never been able to witness this. And this is what makes this kind of camera system just perfect for this opportunity here, because it really disproves so many things that experts have written about these. So this has kind of been my passion, and whenever I find a really good scrape site like this, I get a camera on it as quickly as I can, especially during this period, because there isn't much of an opportunity to film an animal like this. So let's open up the system and see what we capture this week. Now, I do have this system locked up. I do this because this is a public area, and you never know who could tamper something, but typically in an area we don't lock these up that are pretty remote. One thing I want to mention too is that most shows that I've seen, when they feature trail cameras like this, a guy puts a trail camera up on a tree chest high. Most animals that you photograph, including probably what will be done in this show, are much smaller than this. And you really can't capture, and they don't function while they're so high. As you can see, this thing's only a couple feet off the ground, and a white-tailed deer isn't much higher than this, although our perception is an animal is much larger. So you'll capture much more wildlife if you position the camera a lot lower on a tree. Okay, let's unlock this. Open the system up, turn it off, pop out the memory card. Now I have a little slick little device here. It's a card reader with a hard disk built into it. And the great thing about this is that not only can I do the movies in the woods, is I can copy them down to this little device here and put all the movies on the hard disk here, take this back to my computer at home, and then download them via USB port. So let's pop this thing on and see what we captured this week. Okay, I got the player ready to go here. All I do is select the movies, go over to my compact flash card, and select the right folder. And as you can see, we captured quite a few movies here. Just scroll down through them. Probably got about an hour's footage this week, which is pretty typical for something like this. And I'll play this movie here. And as you can see, there's a nice little buck there. Last week we captured some really big mature bucks on here, and what we do is we have a YouTube site, and we let our customers come in and see what our products can do. And as you can see, nothing's making noise here, but it's a really important feature to acquire sound, as you know from filming. Okay, the last topic I wanted to discuss here was using our Undercover Eye product is used for filming wildlife. Now typically our Undercover Eye system is only used to film because of its covertness. But given the fact that you're looking for some kind of rare species that may or may not exist, it probably would lend itself best for this kind of a show. As I mentioned before, our DVR-I consists of a recording box. Now this uses the same technology that our DVR-I did, that we just looked at here, but we break each component out so that it can be set up in a covert manner. So all you do is take your DVR-I system, which has the antenna and connectors for connecting the camera. You just bury this in the ground or cover it with a bunch of leaves, like you can do here. Connect the camera to it. Now this is a silver bullet camera, typically use black or camo based ones, so I'm just going to use this for just that purposes. Connect the camera to the box here. Set your camera up, and you cover this thing all up with leaves as well. Most people put this into a log, so you have a very covert setup. And the motion itself, and what this does when this gets tripped, it sends a radio signal back to our recording box and says start recording. Now you can use multiple sensors for setup, and the great thing about this is, say you're on a trail situation, you can put a sensor up the trail, one down the trail, and one in front of the camera. And if something's coming down the trail, it pre-trips the camera, so you start recording before something comes into view. And that's fantastic for this kind of setup, or any scenario we really need to get good footage on something. We have a little device here that we can just take this and screw it into a tree. Actually, let me take the holder off to do this a little bit harder than it looks. There we go. Slide the sensor in, and again, when something gets tripped here, it starts recording. You can see nothing here like you can with a typical trail camera or video camera setup.